10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How are you sitting right here? Like, I got no idea. You surprised me on the course of Massanutten, and you could tell in my voice, I was like, what the heck?
Hey. What's up, man? What are you doing out here?
Tracking you online, brother.
You're just driving down this backwards country road, like in the middle of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I'm like, Patrick? And you were tracking me. And this is the first year they used tracking, because I didn't track last year either. But you know, it brought back a lot of memories, and just kind of like one of those things like, well, there's no quitting now. You know, like for any 100-miler, it's like you got that first initial period of 30 milers where you kind of caught me right before 50, and there's that period of like, why am I out here? What did I sign up for this for? What am I doing? And like, you start easing into it, you're like, oh yeah, I enjoy the pain that my body's going through right now.
My fellow ultra runner, Patrick. You got inspired to run hundreds. Oh, nice. Went out in Greenbrier. First year didn't do it. There was another race. He came back to the Greenbrier last month with an ice pack on his leg. That's awesome. That's the one in Maryland, right? Greenbrier Ultra? Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel great.
What mile are you on now?
We're on mile 51 almost.
Okay.
We've climbed 9,800 feet of elevation.
Wow.
We're cherishing the flat land right now.
That's
Looking
awesome.
forward to a beer at the next aid station.
Very good. Like good old times.
Yes, sir.
So what's your role now?
I'm just pacing and crewing. Take it easy, man.
All right.
We're gonna be. I'll pick him up at Camp Roosevelt, like 66 miles.
Okay. Awesome. You running with your GoPro this time again or no?
No,
Okay.
it's all work this time.
Right. Too much distraction doing that with the GoPro, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, do your thing. I'm gonna catch you coming out.
Okay.
All right. All right, Sean.
Thank you.
What's up, Scott? Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, dude? Where you at?
Right here, right in front of the thing.
All right. Right for the
How's Casey doing? Up here, by Top Highway.
No, you'll be great. You'll be swell.
Where's your chair?
Yeah, thanks. Can you fill your bottle up? I'm gonna take my rain jacket. I wonder about the beer. They're a little wet. Alright, no problem.
I took more time at that aid station than I had before. You know, that mile I think was a 38-minute mile, but you know, it was a good chance to link up with you. I haven't seen for a long time and get some good food, change my socks, and just, you know, kind of decompress for a minute. Because I knew it was ahead of me. That climb coming out of that aid station is ridiculous. I mean, it's just like switch back, left, right, keep on climbing. It's steep and you come down a little bit, oh, you're gonna climb back up. We'll bring you down and take you back up. That's how it goes.
I'll just take a pair of these. I just need poles.
Take your time. If I'll see, I'll sit on top.
I'll see these guys.
So I got up to the aid station, the guy's like, does anybody want a beer? And I was like, well, what do you got? He's like, I got a Coors Light. I was like, I'll take it. You know, it's a light beer, it's got a little bit of calories, but it's got calories and carbs, and that's what you need.
The pizza and the beer thing.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a while.
Huh?
We'll see you in a little bit.
All right. You can drink the rest of that beer if you want to. I will.
I'm going to go climb a mountain or something.
Yes, go climb a mountain.
And this was like the first time I'd ever taken on a 100-miler solo. And Massanutten is not just any race, you know. It is like one of the toughest races in Virginia. You have to be focused all the time. If you're not focused, you know, you're going to crash and burn.
I first met Sean Cook at a race where I was actually doing an aid station. It was a 50-mile race out in Fairplay, Colorado, and he just came up to the fire and before the race, and we were just chatting with a bunch of other runners. But he was talking to us, and he says, you know, I'm doing Leadville next month in August, and do you want to pace and crew? And I didn't think anything of it, but my friend said, sure. She said, I'll do it. And she ended up pacing him as well, and I said, well, if she's going, I'm going to go as well. And that's how I met Sean to do the Leadville 100-mile race. And then later on, I found out that he had gone from not running at all to running a 100-miler in 6 months. And I had already been an ultra runner, so I thought that was kind of impressive and kind of crazy at the same time. So it was like my first time actually pacing someone at a race as well.
Whatever reason, whether it was my recent trip to Alaska, my jet lag, or bad sleep the night before, I was just kind of like in a drone state. And I joked with him earlier about, have you ever taken a nap on a race? Because he just signed up for a Cocodona 250. He's like, no. I was like, you better start. Well, I didn't know it was gonna be me later. It was me napping later. And I didn't come up with a detailed pace chart. I just knew I was gonna run with Scott. We're gonna run smart, and we're gonna like enjoy the views along the way. That's what we did. climb up this hill and it's just rocks. You're like rock, 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 and all of a sudden you see some light coming through. You get to that space, and depending on what part of the valley you're at, you're either looking out towards Luray area or you're looking out towards New Market, and it just opens up into just lush green trees everywhere. The beautiful river out there is amazing.
Got that monster climb.
Time to get that buckle.
That's right.
Right. Maybe take a nap in between.
All right, fellas. Next stop, finish line.
So I met Michelle and Sean through CrossFit, and Michelle had this great idea that I should run the Grayson Highland 50K, and Sean was like, yeah, you should do that. And of course, behind every great man, there's a better woman, right? Sean epitomizes kind of what ultra running's all about. And it's a culture, it's an attitude, what do they call it now, a vibe, is that it's just to go out and have fun and to push yourself beyond something you thought you could ever do. And the only way you can do that is with other people's help. And that's how they helped me. I never thought I would be able to do that. And now doing that, and I got a text from them and said, you're an ultra marathoner now. I mean, how cool is that on my resume of athletics, right?
This thing is doggone good. What kind of aid stations bring snow cones to the field? Icy Pops. But this is a snow cone, dude. Nobody normal on a trail run running 100 miles. That's a fact. I mean, everyone's got something that they working on, working past, working through, headed towards. You know, that whole process of running that 100 miles helps everyone heal in some way. So the guy I ran with, he was a young kid from Cincinnati who had lost his brother 2 years ago to suicide. You know, and I can relate to that. You know, having lost like my RTO, 2 peers, Sergeant Major, all of them to suicide when I was in the military. So I can I know what he was going through feeling wise. You know, it's different when you have a family member, and he said somebody he looked up to as like role model. You know, and that's tough. It just so, and then he had a problem with addiction too. You know, so when you take that and you throw it together, you know, it could lead to really bad things. But he works in the Department of Defense, he's a civilian, and he had ran into some colonel somewhere, invited him out for a trail run. And he went out for a trail run, and the next thing you know, he signs up for a 100-miler just because he's got that personality, that addictive type personality, that he likes it, does it, wants to do more of it. And for him, he was even talking about his brother. He's like, man, I was swatting flies the first 30 miles, and I could tell you it was my brother chasing me. You know, so to see that, hear that, feel that, I mean, that was pretty good. And, you know, that's what you see a lot on trail runs too. People will tell you everything. I'm sure I've told my life story to everyone on a trail, and for him to share that, you know, you just kind of, you reflect upon it. There's not a lot, I mean, I don't know him that well, but I'm just able to say, hey man, you are where you're supposed to be right now, and you just got to keep going. And he wants you to finish. And he did. That was his first 100 too. Feel great, man. Second finish here. The first of Scott and I's 6 100 races this year. All Virginia. We're excited. But in all honesty, I'm tired. My body's shredded. My legs can't move very well right now. And I have some issues at the bottom of my feet. I almost put some ice on a leg and rolled around with it. All right, so this shirt is pretty significant because this represents the Virginia 6'er, and that is 6 races that are 100 miles in distance across Virginia, and the only 6'er right here. Massanutten 100, which we just completed last weekend. Old Dominion 100, which is 2 weeks away from this race. Yeti 100, which is 6 days after Grindstone. Cloud Splitter 100, and then the Devil Dog 100. Now, as an individual, some of these are probably not as tough as others, but when you take all 6 and you do them all together, it is incredibly hard. The big one for us is going to be the Massanutten to Old Dominion. The Old Dominion, you only get a buckle if you do it in 24 hours or less. So now I got to take off my trail hiking relaxed mode shoes from Massanutten, and I got to put on my like speed shoes. I got to get going, get after it. That's if my body will let me after this rough weekend at Massanutten. Massanutten was pretty tough. Scott Lee and I came up with this, and you know, so far, as we know, we're the only 2 that have done it. We started a Facebook page for it, and hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 people next year to do it.